this was a serial killer.
And there's a random shot of what looks to be someone's backyard,
which is rumored to be a spot outside where the real Tara is buried.
Tara, the android, was perhaps wearing the victim's clothing.
That the clothes that this android is wearing...
The victim's clothes.
Nah, that.
Disturbing and uncomfortable to watch.
YouTube has always been home to the strange, the forgotten, and sometimes deeply unsettling. But every once in a while, a video surfaces that doesn't just weird people out, it stays with them, quietly. Back in the early days of the platform, one such video slipped through the cracks of the algorithm. No explanation, no context. Just a humanoid figure, dressed in different outfits, standing in a white room, singing a robotic off-key line over and over. I feel fantastic. At first, it felt like a bizarre art experiment, but something about it didn't sit right with viewers. Maybe it was the way the android moved, or didn't. Maybe it was the strange camera cuts, or maybe it was that brief scene. A forest, still and empty, that seemed to serve no purpose. But that one clip sparked a theory, one that turned this video from a harmless curiosity into a possible clue in something far darker. This is the mystery of one of YouTube's eeriest uploads, and if you think you've seen it all, you haven't yet. But just when the internet seemed to settle into the mystery with wild theories and half-answers, someone decided to dig deeper, not out of fear, not even out of suspicion, but out of pure, obsessive curiosity. See, a video game developer, just a hobbyist, not a professional investigator, found himself haunted by I Feel Fantastic ever since watching it as a teenager. The android's unsettling stare, that off-pitch robotic voice, it didn't just weird him out, it stuck. Years later, he made it a personal mission to trace the roots of the video, to uncover who or what was really behind Tara, the android. And what did he find? Let's just say it adds another layer to the already cryptic puzzle. This wasn't just one creepy clip. He even managed to get his hands on a rare DVD, the kind you'd expect to be lost to time. What was on it? That part came later, and it changed everything than what the world had already seen. The creator? A man named John Bergeron, a name that appeared on an obscure, outdated website called AndroidWorld.com, a digital rabbit hole of bizarre inventions and android blueprints. Buried deep within that site was Tara's original page, alongside other odd robotic projects he had worked on. And it didn't stop there. This researcher even found old notes, metadata, file formats so outdated they couldn't even be opened without special tools. But hidden in all of it was a crucial discovery. Tara's original recordings dated all the way back to 2004, meaning the viral YouTube upload came 5 years after the android was created. Which begs the question, why did it take so long to surface, and why now? And what's even more chilling, a secondary video called Piercing the Android started circulating around the same time. Heavily edited, jarring, disturbing.
Hey, my name is Tara. Don't try this at home. That doesn't hurt, not at all. I am an android.
Look at the new face my designer made for me.
Many believed it featured Terra being violated or disassembled, but the tone of that video didn't match John Bergeron's earlier work, leading to theories that someone else might have gotten hold of the android, someone with darker intentions. And just when you think you're getting close to an answer, another dead end appears. Old websites infected with malware, archived links that lead nowhere, all signs pointing to a passion project left unfinished and misunderstood. Before the internet truly turned its gaze toward Terra, there were small, unsettling videos that quietly emerged and hinted at something strange beneath the surface. While April 15, 2009 is often credited as Terra's official debut, the reality is more fragmented and eerie. The video, "I Feel Fantastic," wasn't her first digital breath. In fact, as early as May 2006, a channel named Elias Adsom uploaded a clip titled "The Future," featuring 15 seconds of Terra in her now infamous black outfit. It barely touched 900 views, but the vibe? Still deeply uncomfortable. Just a few months later, in August 2006, a second video appeared. "Fantastic, hey, hey, hey." This one gained slightly more traction, about 20,000 views, and the comments began bubbling with confusion and discomfort. The tone was already forming, and by April 2007, things shifted again. A channel directly tied to yet another Terra clip. This one showing her sprawled out in the black outfit, eerily lifeless, robotic, and human all at once. Still, none of these videos caught fire. Not yet. So what made that 2009 upload explode? A part of it might just be timing, but another detail stands out: the description beneath the 2009 upload. It referenced Pygmalion, the ancient Greek sculptor who fell in love with a statue he carved. The metaphor was haunting. A man disgusted with real women builds his own perfect, pure companion. Suddenly, the robotic stiffness of Terra wasn't just uncanny, it was symbolic. That cryptic description reframed the video, from weird art to something disturbingly poetic. And then, she went viral. But in classic internet fashion, the legend wasn't allowed to rest. In 2022, the original 2009 upload mysteriously vanished. It was taken down due to a copyright claim by an obscure UK-based company called Terabyte Music Distribution Service Limited. There was no clear link between them and Terra, no record, no known catalog. Strangely, a Vivo channel popped up around the same time, posting the same video with a link to stream the track. Within weeks, that channel disappeared too. The stream link, dead. And like that, Terra's original viral video was gone. Some believe this was simply another case of YouTube's chaotic copyright system misfiring. Others speculate a mix-up involving a similarly titled song by Jonathan Coulton. But for many, it was just one more twist in a story already drenched in ambiguity. Terra didn't just haunt viewers, she haunted the very platforms that hosted her. But eventually, the researcher concluded that Bergeron wasn't a madman or a killer. In fact, he might have just been an enthusiast, a man who saw beauty in something the world found uncanny, a man who, sadly, passed away before ever realizing how far his creation would travel. But to really understand Terra, you've got to go back, way before YouTube, before the video even surfaced. Because Terra didn't just show up one day, she was the result of years of obsession, quiet invention, one man's strange dream. Now here's something that's always stuck with me. Just as the internet began to truly evolve, he seemed to disappear. John Bergeron, the man whose obsession gave life to Terra, was once everywhere online. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, You could spot him posting in robotics forums, pitching Terra as a revolution in personal androids, and updating his websites with the same obsessive attention you'd expect from someone truly convinced he was ahead of his time. But then, silence. At first, it looked like he'd simply vanished. No more forum activity, no new projects, no updates. And for a while, that silence only deepened the mystery. Was he alive? Did he go underground? Or had something darker happened? Turns out the answer might be more human than we expected. In July 2005, a John Bergeron, age 65, was reported to have passed away unexpectedly at his home in Vermont. The name matched, the location matched, and so did his career history, having worked at IBM for years before retiring. Everything lines up too neatly for it to be a coincidence. If this was indeed the same John Bergeron, it would explain the sudden drop-off in activity. The digital trail went cold because the man behind it was gone. But that's not the whole story. There was also mention of a John Bergeron Jr., his son. And here's where things get murky again. Some of the sites and accounts tied to Terra were still being updated in 2006 and even 2007. They were subtle tweaks, nothing dramatic, but enough to raise a very real question. Was John Jr. involved all along? One of the most curious finds was on the Android Builder site, where a random low-res image resembling a circuit board was added in 2007. It's such a tiny update, so oddly placed, it almost feels like someone trying to keep something barely alive, like a whisper in a forgotten corner of the web. If John Jr. was the one behind Terra, or at least continued her digital legacy, it would make sense. But oddly enough, he too seemed to fade into obscurity shortly after. Just like his father, he disappeared from public view. And the dream of a personal android revolution quietly slipped into the shadows. And he documented it all. From obscure robotics websites, androidworld.com, you can trace Terra's development, her interchangeable wigs, the plans for facial expressions, a vision head with mini cameras. He dreamed of her recognizing speech, responding in conversations. Terra could wave, sit, blink, smile, and she was sold on DVD. That very DVD, by the way, is where the I Feel Fantastic clip was ripped from. Somewhere along the way, things got weirder. Bergeron started describing Terra more intimate terms. Early posts suggest he explored adult market uses for his robots. One site even listed her as a homemade SX android, a far cry from Halloween decorations. And yet, his tone never came across like a villain, more like a man with a strange, sad dream, trying to humanize something that would never be truly human. But if anything, this is where the internet took things and ran wild. Because for the average viewer, that backstory wasn't enough. It didn't explain the unease. It didn't silence the whisper at the back of your brain that said something was still off. So naturally, theories began to take over. And the most popular was that the video was a confession. Many believed that Terra, the android, was built to mimic someone the creator had lost, or worse, someone he had taken. The theory said the robotic repetition of "I Feel Fantastic" wasn't just a song, it was a twisted attempt to relive or preserve someone, to trap their likeness inside metal and code. And the brief cutaway to the woods, that was believed to be where the real person was buried. That theory alone caused the video to be flagged, dissected, and, for a time, even removed from certain platforms. Then came the Uncanny Valley crowd. These folks weren't worried about murders or missing people. They saw the android as a perfect example of that strange discomfort we get when something looks human, but not quite. That jerky stiffness, the blank stare, the synthetic voice echoing human emotion but never truly capturing it, it hits a part of your brain you can't reason with. It's wrong. but you can't explain why. And that's what makes it powerful. Some artists even began calling Terra a piece of accidental genius, a proto-AI warning before AI was cool. A look at how emotion, when faked, becomes more frightening than rage itself. But then there were the fringe theorists. This part gets weirder. Some believe Terra was part of a failed robotics experiment, government-funded and abandoned. Others were sure it was part of an early ARG, alternate reality game, meant to lead players into a larger digital mystery, only for the rest of the puzzle to never be released. And there's one I still think about sometimes. A theory that this wasn't about murder or art or even androids, but about grief. That the creator was trying to preserve joy, to force something, anything, to keep singing "I Feel Fantastic" on a loop, because that's what he couldn't feel anymore. And honestly, that idea is scarier than any serial killer, because it's not supernatural, it's not dramatic, it's just human. And maybe that's why this video stayed with us. Not because it shocked us, but because it reflected something real in the creepiest way possible. Even now, viewers still return to Terra's video, dropping comments like, "I'm watching this again in 2025 and it still gives me chills." Maybe you will too, but don't worry, we're not done yet. After the original "I Feel Fantastic" video went viral, it didn't just stop at shocked reactions and late-night Reddit posts, it multiplied. People started uploading edited versions, slowed down audio, distorted visuals, each one twisting the original just slightly, making it even more unsettling. It was like everyone wanted to leave their own fingerprint on this enigma. Some took it further, adding eerie background scores. Others overlaid new messages in the subtitles. Subtle changes like "I feel fantastic" becoming "I feel trapped." And those versions somehow hit even harder. And then came the fan recreations. We're not talking parody, no one was laughing. These were straight-up tributes, full costumes, similar blank stares, the same jerky movement. Some were close copies, others were intentionally wrong, uncanny in all new ways. One channel even recreated the setting: white backdrop, mismatched clothes, the forest cutaway, frame by frame. But then came something darker. Something most people don't talk about. A handful of anonymous uploads started surfacing. Not just copies of the original, but new androids. New figures, still humanoid, still singing, but singing different phrases. Or not singing at all, just standing there, breathing and watching. One video surfaced under a random username, no tags, no title, where a Terra-like android whispered something weird before the screen cut to black. It was taken down within days, but not before someone mirrored it. And that's the thing, Terra didn't stay contained to one creator. The moment she hit the internet, she became everyone's. Everyone wanted to crack her, fix her, redefine her, or maybe become her. Some believed the android was cursed, like she carried something inside her, an emotion too big to fit inside wires. Some believed she wasn't fiction at all, but a digital manifestation of something ancient, something trying to reach us through code, through repetition, through those glassy plastic eyes. And just when it seemed the video had found a permanent place in YouTube's darker corners, it vanished. The original upload of "I Feel Fantastic," the one posted by the YouTube channel Creepy Blog back on April 15th, 2009, disappeared. No warning, no explanation, just gone. One day you could click it and the next, nothing but re-uploads and digital echoes. Sure, you can still find copies all over the platform, but the fact that the original disappeared sparked even more questions. Why now? Why? After so many years? And then there's the house, the background of the video. That sterile, almost liminal-looking house only added to the unease. Some viewers noted the way the android moved between outfits, including one unsettling scene where she's laying down in full black, her limbs oddly sprawled. No explanation was ever offered for the switch or the forest cutaways. It's as if someone tried to tell a story, but deleted the script. Interestingly, other videos of the same android surfaced around the same time. They showed her in different positions, different clothing, sometimes completely alone, lying still on the floor. Each new clip only deepened the mystery. Who was filming her? Why were they changing her clothes? And what was she meant to feel so fantastic about? Because the more you watch these, the less fantastic anything feels. Wild? Sure. But if you've ever stared at that video at 3 a.m. with the lights off, it doesn't feel so wild. It feels like she's looking back. And it doesn't end there, because even the rumors kept evolving. Someone even claimed to have seen Tara, or something that looked exactly like her, at a tech exhibit years later. No tag, no label, just standing in a corner of a robotics hall, silent, lifeless, or pretending to be. People still argue over that. No photo ever surfaced, but those who swear they still remember her. And maybe that's what gives this whole story weight. Because it's not just about an android singing off-key in a white room. It's about the silence that came after. About the way we stared into that screen, waiting for something to blink, or speak, or scream. And even though it never did, we felt it anyway. Because some of the original footage, it never made it online. And turns out, what did we see was just a fragment. There's more. A lot more. The man who went down the rabbit hole looking into Tara, yep, the one who managed to actually buy a copy of the original DVD, discovered something most people never even knew existed: a full 15-minute version of Tara the android. That's 3 times the length of the clip we've all seen. And honestly, it's not just more of the same, it's worse. Worse in the best, most spine-crawling way. See, in the extended version, Tara doesn't just sing the "I feel fantastic" loop over and over. She talks, kind of. Her voice glitches, stretches, loops, halts, like someone tried to program emotion into her but ran out of code halfway. There's a scene where she's standing perfectly still, her head twitching side to side, and her voice says, "Do you feel? Do you feel? Do you feel?" Over and over. It never finishes the sentence. And then cut to black for 10 whole seconds. Just static. Then her voice again. But this time it's just whispering. Safe, safe, safe. No one knows if that was intentional, if it was broken code, if it was something she was trying to say. And maybe that's the part that unsettles me the most. Some of the footage on that DVD was corrupt, unreadable. And in one of the fragments, she's in a completely different outfit, sitting on a couch, just staring. No movement, no music, just breathing. It's barely 5 seconds, but it stays with you because someone had to film that, direct it, render it, choose that moment. And the biggest mystery? That full 15-minute version was online once, briefly, a long time ago. But then it vanished, deleted, no backups. All that's left are clips people managed to rip and theories about what was cut. Some say the missing pieces were too disturbing to keep up. Others believe there was a separate version entirely, meant only for private viewing. And some think John Bergeron, Tara's creator, never intended for the public to see any of it. And maybe it was all part of something personal. There are whispers of a Piercing the Android video, one that supposedly shows Tara in a completely different light, darker, angrier. but even those who claim to have seen it can't agree on the details. Was she moving like she was in pain? Was it even her? That's the thing. This mystery never really ends. Tara lives on not just in the viral clip, but in all the gaps, the corrupted files, the whispers from users who saw something, but don't have proof. And now, you're part of it too. Because once you've seen her, she doesn't quite leave you alone, does she? So, what do we make of her? In the end, we may never know for certain whether it was John Bergeron Sr. or his son who created Tara. The evidence could go either way, and without a definitive answer, the only constant left is Tara herself. A figure that once terrified millions, but now, maybe you see her in a different light. Because after everything we've uncovered, it's hard to call this the work of a madman. When I re-watch the video now, it feels less like horror and more like heartbreak. Sure, the mystery amplified its creep factor, but the truth feels quieter, sadder, maybe even beautiful. This wasn't a murder confession. It wasn't some cryptic warning. It was a passion project, one that evolved, stumbled, and outlived its own creator. Through every online corner, every glitchy upload, every uncomfortable pause, we watched an idea shift and change. We watched someone try, and maybe even fail, but fail with heart. Whether it ended because of death or disillusionment, the story of Tara became so much more than one man would have imagined. And honestly, if there's anything fantastic about this strange, haunting tale, it's that Tara wasn't made to scare us. Not exactly. She was someone's dream, a creation born from wires and ambition, programmed to sing, to speak, to exist. And yet, she became something else. Not because of what she did, but because of how we saw her. That blank stare, that robotic cheerfulness, the way she stands too still or moves too slow. But maybe that's the point. Some mysteries don't get solved. They linger in low-resolution video, in outdated websites, in whispers on old forums, and in the back of your mind where Tara now hums on loop. So, if this video gave you chills, or made you feel just a little less fantastic, hit that like button, subscribe for more dark dives like this, and drop your theories, or your own weird internet finds, down in the comments below. Because trust me, there's always more to uncover, and I'll be right here waiting in the static with you. Until next time, stay strange, stay curious,